إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل له فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين ثم آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Oh Allah, we're about to study Surah Rahman today. Please bestow on us the right wisdom, the right guidance. Open our hearts to this wisdom and give us the tawfiq to build a relationship with the Quran and put love of the Quran and your deen in our hearts. And give us the power, the tawfiq to implement on your teachings and to follow the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May today's lesson be beneficial for all of us. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي فرب العالمين ثم ما بعد. So guys, just before I begin giving you a quick background, so you guys know that every surah in the Quran is either Makki or Madni, right? But Surah Rahman is one of the surahs that's got a bit of an argument on that decision. So majority of the people say it's Madni, but then there are some arguments that is later Makki as well. So during the time when the Prophet ﷺ was in Makkah. Okay. Now this surah, by its context and its structure, it does state, for me it's either early Madni surah. Okay. So this is a time when the Prophet ﷺ escaped the persecution of the Quraysh. He's transferred to Medina, and now you've got the stubborn Jews in Medina as well now. Before you had a disbelievers, the pagans of Quraysh. Now you've come to Medina, you've got the disbelievers there, and plus you're interacting with the Jews now that they're too, okay? And now what happens, some people, before they denied the Prophet, they persecuted the Prophet ﷺ and the messengers and the companions, the Sahaba, okay? And in the end, they just start saying that we're not going to believe until we see a miracle. We're not going to believe in what you're telling us until you show us like a live miracle, something that you show us, right? So the Prophet ﷺ did perform a miracle as well. I don't know if you guys know about the incident of the splitting of the moon. There's a surah in the Quran as well, Surah Qamar, which states that the hour is near, the moon is split. That's indicating that incident. So this incident is not only recorded within the Arab history, but also other civilizations saw this happen as well during that time. The Romans, the Persians, they've recorded this incident. They've seen the moon split in half. Okay. So Surah Rahman, just before I begin this, I want to tell you what the neighboring surahs are. The surah before this is Surah Qamar, that has the incident of splitting of the moon. And the surah after this is Surah Waqia. Alright? And Surah Waqia is going to be the continuation of Surah Rahman. Okay? So the people call the Quran a lie first. Then when Quran was proving them wrong with logic, they started to say this is magic. Okay? After that, the persecution stage came, and now it's the stage of stubbornness. They're being stubborn. They don't want to believe. They're denying it, like straightforward denying it, right? So this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is going to step in to teach them now. They're asking for miracles. Now, if you studied Islam and the history, messengers came before as well. They were given miracles, right? What happened to the nations who saw a live miracle and denied them? Does anyone know?
So what's that?
So previously, when the previous nations, previous messengers, they were shown miracles, like live miracles, like the Jews saw, the Bani Israel saw the sea split, Bani Israel or the Christians saw Hazrat Isa alayhi salam bring people back to life, and even before that, like other various so many miracles, like the Prophet Salih, the Prophet Hud, have you heard of the she camel? That incident. So people saw live miracles, and when they rejected the miracle, what did Allah Ta'ala do to them? What happened to the nation?
Destroyed.
They were destroyed, right? Now this is the final messenger, and this is going to be the final nation, and the final message is coming on the Arabs. And if Allah Ta'ala shows them a live miracle and they reject it, which they already are, they're going to have to be destroyed, right? So this was a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they weren't shown that He didn't accept that request. Because if He destroyed the Arabs, the final nation, how would Allah's final message would have spread? Alright? And one more very important thing you guys need to understand. Before, when prophets came, they were given miracles and they were given a message. But they both were separate things. Like Musa alayhi salam was given the staff, right? And from the staff He's performed many wonders. The staff turned into a snake. The different plagues came on Pharaoh. If you've read the story of Exodus, and Musa alayhi salam, he split the sea with that. Okay, and he was given a message which was the Torah. All right. The miracle was for the messenger. For him, no one else could use that. It was for the messenger only. The message was for the community, and the community was entrusted to protect that message. But what did the community do with the message? What did the Bani Israel do with the Torah?
Changed it.
They changed it, corrupted it, altered it, right? That's why messages had to keep on coming throughout the nations, because they altered the word of Allah, they changed it, they made changes to it. Okay? Now this is the final nation, the final message, and it's a miracle at the same time. So it's Allah has combined the miracle and the message, and first time, it's not only for the messenger, but for all of mankind. The Quran is for all of you. So this is a huge fact that people don't realize. This is a miracle that will use for everyone. Okay? So Allah Ta'ala is going to highlight some things, like already the miracles that we have around us that we just don't understand or we don't realize. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, you asking me to show you something extraordinary. What about the things you already have? Have you ever sat down and thought upon them? So Allah Ta'ala is going to, in this surah, what Allah Ta'ala is going to be doing, He's going to be stating some of His blessings. And there's an ayah in this surah which is going to be repeated on and on. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So which of the blessings of your Lord will you both deny? And interestingly, in every surah there has been a subject. There's been a subject of audience, right? There's either been the kuffar or the Jews or someone else. In this surah, it's everyone. It's believers, kuffar, Jews. On top of that, jinn. Okay? Because if you know Shaitan's agenda from the start, what has the agenda been? Can anyone just reiterate that?
Sorry?
What's the devil? You know Shaitan. What's his mission?
So just to
prove that there is no God.
No, basically just to go against the wills of God and just make us act against that.
Against that, right?
But to prove Allah wrong as well, because
Yeah.
he aimed,
So his aim is for us not to follow Allah or not to believe in Him. Either believe in someone else or bring alternative things in between the religion, corrupted religion. Shaitan, the only power that the devil has over us is the power of waswasa. Alright? Power of putting thoughts in our mind, in our hearts. Either to sin or make, luxuries alluring to us so we drift away from the religion. Okay? So that's why Surah Nas is for that as well. So the waswasa that come from both men and jinn. Okay? This is one of the powers the jinns have over us. We don't know how to do it, but they are putting thoughts in our head, in our mind all the time. Shayateen are after us, in our hearts, right? So Allah Ta'ala when Allah Ta'ala says both of you, He's just letting the shayateen know as well that He's aware of what they're doing. Because what's the stubbornness behind people? Why are they not believing? Because they're following the waswasa of the shaitan. The shaitan saying, no, don't believe them. Don't make them reject what your ancestors told you to believe. Right? What about your pride? What about your ego? Are you going to be equal to a slave now? Are you going to this is what Quran was, making everyone one. Equal, right? Slave and masters equal, Arab and non-Arab equal, black and white equal. Removing the status quo. Let go of the worldly luxuries. Let go of your desires, your lusts. Right? Be steadfast. Time to face hardships. And Shaitan's trying to stop us from doing that. Okay? So Allah Ta'ala's put the jinn in the audience as well. Okay? So this surah, this is going to be divided into 5 sections. Right? When I divide the surah into 5 sections for study basis, basically, for you to understand the construction of the surah. Okay? So the first section, I've got my markers with these. So the first section is going to be basically verse number 1 till 4. Okay? And I might not be able to, because I want to really elaborate this surah, it's very important. So I'll try to finish it, but if I cannot, then we will continue next week, alright? So the first one would be verse number 1 till 4, and I'll call this section Quran, basically. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. There's a secret formula in these 4 verses, the first 4.
Sorry.
So shall we just start Surah Rahman?
Yeah.
So you just made it on time. I've just given them an introduction, so I can tell you that afterwards.
Yeah,
So Surah Rahman, again, just briefly, is divided into 5 sections. So we're going to be starting section 1, which is from verse number 1 till 4. Right? There's a few things I want you to understand this, right? The title, this is the first chapter in the Quran, I think the one and only chapter that's after the name of Allah. And this is one of the mightiest names of Allah, Rahman. The first verse is just one word. And Allah Ta'ala has given it the honor of being a sentence on its own. His name, Ar-Rahman. Alright? Now, Rahman translated to English is the most merciful. Okay? But there's more to the meaning to that. Alright? When in English we say someone is merciful, there's an element of cruelty in that as well. So someone who wants to punish you and stuff, he lets you go, he's merciful to you, right? The policeman was merciful to me. The king was merciful to me. The master was merciful to the slave. Alright? Whereas Rahman, you know where the word originates from? It originates from the word Raham. Raham, basically. And Raham in Arabic means womb. A mother's womb. Alright? And there's a hadith al-Qudsi, where Allah Ta'ala says that I have named the womb after my name. Alright? So, so from taking from that womb, right? So, you know the mercy that a mother has for a child? That's what Rahman is. So mother doesn't want to punish the child, she wants to take care of her. She loves the child, she wants to feed him basically. She wants to do the best. I don't know how to describe it, because only a mother could actually describe what her love is for the child. And Allah is the most Rahman, the highest level of Rahman you can get out of your thoughts. That's how merciful Allah is. And we'll experience this through the surah, right? So he's saying, Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, taught the Quran. The most beneficent Allah taught the Quran. So, again also, when I don't know who was here on the first lecture, when I was saying that Allah is the ultimate teacher of the Quran. So even if you say, Quran is a miracle, it's not an ordinary book. You know how like people say that, oh, you can't understand it on your own, you need a scholar, right? You need to first of all understand it's a miracle of Allah. It's not a book, it's not a mess, just a message, it's a miracle. And Allah is a teacher himself, alright? If you have a guide, that's good. But if you make an attempt yourself and you believe that Allah is going to guide you through, Allah will give the resources to you to reach the conclusion. So, Ar-Rahman, Allamul Quran, Khalaq al-Insan. He created man, Allamahul Bayan, and taught him Bayan. Again, Bayan is a very important word. In English, it's translated as speech or eloquent speech. Okay? But Bayan basically means the ability of description, to intake description of something and to give description. जैसे कि उर्दू में कहते हैं बयान सुनने जा रहा हूँ मैं, या he's listening to bayan, I'm going to listen to a bayan, someone's giving a bayan, a Maulvi is giving a bayan, I'm going to listen to that, or I'm giving you a bayan right now. Okay? So what happens in bayan is you take information, you process it, you come to a conclusion. Okay? And there's another word called kalam. Kalam is basically speech. Kalam can be anything. But bayan is something that someone's giving you information, input or output, and you processing the information to come to conclusions, right? Now, if you pay attention, Allah says, خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ أَلَّمَهُ الْبَيَانَ. I created man and taught him bayan. So he's giving you a hint basically. This is how Quran works. It's really exciting. It creates, so basically it wants you to figure things out. This is how Allah works, right? So before I go ahead, I was listening to this, I don't know if you guys know about the science, Neil Degree. He's quite a famous scientist of today's age. He's also done a TV series called Cosmos, if you're into that or not. I was listening to one of his talks, right? And he just said something, you know, the difference between an ordinary mind and a genius mind is that a genius mind likes to figure things out, right? So if I tell you that the light we're getting from this tube light is because of electricity, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't want me to further explain. You want to figure it out yourself. So how is electricity traveling all the way there? How is it being light up? That's what a genius mind is. They ask questions. Why? What's the reason behind this? Why or who? Right? So if you figure out, Allah is saying, I created man and taught him bayan. Now, when I looked into this, I said, what inside our creation is where bayan happens? Right? There's a huge information here, and it falls under the category of neurology, neuroscience. Okay? Inside our brain, if you study the anatomy of the brain can be divided into three parts: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brain stem. I think we studied this in school as well. I don't know if you guys remember, but I went over this because of the Quran. So just generally going, so that's something like, this is the top bit, this is the bottom bit, and there's a brain stem, right? So this is the cerebrum, this is cerebellum, something like that, and this is the brain stem. Sorry, can you see this? So just quickly going, not in depth, but in the top bit is where all the decision making happens. The way we think, we process information. And here, it's like a walnut. The shape of the top is like a walnut, and it's divided into two halves. There's a left side, there's a left lobe and a right lobe. In the left lobe, there's an area called the Broca area, right? And this is also known as the speech center. This is where all the information goes, and this is where we collect information to speak, to describe things, right? Or take in information like listening, writing down, speaking. This is where it all happens. Do animals have speech?
No.
They communicate, but have you ever seen an animal talk? Is there language they have? Can they describe things? That's why the animals have never evolved. They can't. They've got built-in stuff like just like generally how to describe them. Allah just designed them that way, and they live their whole life that way. They only eat one thing, like a carnivore would only eat meat. Some like grass-eating animals would only eat grass. Like I'm describing to you, this is designed in one way, and they live their life throughout the same way. Like humanity has existed for hundreds and thousands of years now, right? The only species that's ever evolved is a human being. And one of the reasons is the speech center. Because we've been able to communicate, share ideas, make discoveries. Alright? Allah Ta'ala is saying to you, this is one of my the attributes of a mercy is that I've taught you al-bayan. I've given you the speech center, I've created a speech center in you, and I've taught you how to use it as well. Okay? And then, so this is section 1 ended here. Right? To understand the rest of the surah, you need to keep this in mind, al-bayan. You need to do al-bayan to understand the rest of the surah, right? Now Allah Ta'ala is saying, time to use your brains. You want to have logic, you want to come on scientific side of things, right? It's time that you put your brains to use that I've given you. He's just highlighted that. Okay? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ash-shamsu wal qamru bi husban wal najmu wash shajru yasjudan. The sun and the moon run on their fixed courses, calculated with measured out stages. And the stars and the trees both prostrate. Okay? He's saying, he's pointing out, again, going back to astronomy side, pointing out to the cosmos that Have you seen the sun and the moon running on their fixed courses with the calculation? What do we get out of sun's calculation? What happens? How is the sun, the way the sun moves or we move around the sun? What do we get out of that? For the calendar year, right? What do we get out of the moon?
Right.
With the sun, you get your daily times, your hour, your 24 hours. That's how you calculate your day, the 24 hours. And we Muslims use the moon for our calendar. Yeah? Again, in Arabic, the word Allah Ta'ala says, Ash-shamsu wal kamru bi husban. Now, husban in Arabic, like I said, the Arabic language is unique. One word can have different meanings. Now, husban has two meanings. One, something following a calculation. And two, something destined to be destroyed. What's going to happen on the Day of Judgment? The sun and the moon are going to be destroyed, right? The sun and the moon are set for millions and billions of years. They're going on one calculation. There's never been that. There's never been a day without light, and there's never been a day without where the sun has gone down. Every day the sun comes up, the sun goes down. The moon comes out, the moon goes away. The calculation is happening in the same way throughout centuries, billions and billions of years. Okay, and then like the sun and the moon, they're destined to be destroyed. We use the sun and the moon for our calendars and our daily timetable, right? What's happening as time going by? Where are we leading to? Our destruction. Do you see the beauty of the ayah? Do you see how that's taught us two things? So first, you want a miracle? Isn't the sun and the moon enough of a miracle for you? Isn't the calculation enough for you to realize that sun and the moon are like, for us, something magnificent, right? People used to worship sun, or some people used to worship the moon. Even now, some people do that. Saying they're following a command, they're on a calculation, and they're destined to be destroyed. So as you. I've set up a calculation. The sun and the moon, out of the other benefits that they gave us, light, heat, everything, they've designed for mankind to calculate their time and their calendars. And like they're on this course to destruction, so are we. Every day, as soon as every second is going past, every day goes past, a cell in our body dies. Every second goes past, a cell in our body dies. And we're slowly going towards our death, to our destruction. Okay?
What sector is this?
So this is, section 2. So I've laid it out in the in paragraph. This is going to be from verse number 5 till verse number 25. It's quite a long section. So, section 1, this is section 2. It's going to be from verse number 5 till 25. Okay? So the main audience at the moment was the people of the desert, right? The Bedouins, the Arabs, the pagans, the Jews. They were living in a desert. Now, at that time, the only thing they had was desert. So, if you think about it, what was beautiful to them? The stars. What else?
Palm trees, water, any desert, any.
Yeah. So at night time, the only thing, what did they have to look at apart from the sky? So star was a beautification for them. They adorn the stars, like we studied last time in Surah Rahman. And in the daytime, it's a huge desert. You use sand for miles and miles, and then they see this little oasis, these few palm trees, these little bushes. They get happy, they run towards it, right? Allah Ta'ala is saying, the things that you admire the most, you adorn the most, even they prostrate to me. The stars, the star when it shoots, it prostrates to Allah, and the trees, obviously, when the trees, they lower down, the branches lower down, they prostrate to Allah. And they're saying, even the things that you admire the most, can you observe how they prostrate to me as well? Alright? And the heavens, He has raised high and has set up the balance, in order that you may not transgress the balance. Okay? Again, Allah Ta'ala is coming back to the heavens again. Have you seen the heavens? How last time Surah Mulk, I've explained everything to you, right? The stages of the heavens, how the 7 layers are, how the atmosphere is, and how everything is in a balance. Do you see the planets colliding with each other? Do you see the stars smashing into each other? Everything's in place. And there's a balance that I've set. Okay? The sun and the moon's calculation is a balance that Allah Ta'ala chose for us. Okay? Why? So that we do not transgress the balance. What sort of balance do we have in our hands? The man, what sort of balance, what thought comes to your mind? The scale, weighing. What do we do when we weigh?
Good or bad.
Good or bad, isn't it? We become greedy, yeah? We misuse that balance. That balance is in our hand. Imagine if the sun and the moon, if the system wasn't there, and every country or every city was calculating time and days and hours according to, I don't know, their own calculations. We would have been transgressing in our days and times as well. We would be shortening years, shortening the days according to just to our own benefit. Do you understand? So Allah Ta'ala said, I've set the balance in the skies, so if I had given that in your hand, you would have even transgressed in that. So that's another miracle, the balance in the skies. So you don't transgress. Okay, and then the next verse, miraculously, and observe the weight with equity and do not make the balance deficient. So the balance that you have in your hand, make sure that you weigh with justice. When you weigh things or you do things, do it with justice. The balance that you have in your own control. Okay? And the earth He has put for the creatures. Therein are fruits, date palms producing sheathed fruit stalks enclosing dates. Okay? So He's coming back to the earth. Have you seen the earth how laid down for the human beings, for the creatures of the earth? So like I was explaining again, repeating from Surah Mulk. Surah Mulk, Allah Ta'ala again said that I laid down the earth to your benefit. At the beginning of the creation, I explained last time as well, the earth was nothing but a ball of fire, right? If you've any of you studied the beginning of creation, when the science says when the planet Earth was first formed out of some collision or some explosion, it was just a ball of fire. Like there was volcanoes here, there was a huge cloud of hot smoke, evaporated water. There was no water on the land, and there was like volcanoes and lavas and storms everywhere. Okay, so Allah was saying that's what the earth was. Then I fashioned the earth. Then there was an ice age, and slowly the land formed, the oceans formed, and Allah Ta'ala fashioned the earth to our suitability. He made the oceans, He made the mountains to make the earth stable, He made the forests, the deserts, everything, the seasons. So every species on earth has got its provision set by Allah. Like the earth is producing fruits, crops and everything for them. So this is the next ayah is, and Allah says, so the earth that I've laid down to you, how I've laid down for you, like the earth produces fruits. Okay, and from the fruits, Allah Ta'ala has highlighted the date palms. She did fruit stock enclosing dates. So you know all the different fruits we have. This falls into the study of nutrition. Do you see how nutrition filled every fruit is? Like every other fruit is providing you vitamins, protein suitable for your body, right? And they taste good as well. Okay. And you know what? We're human beings. What do we create? Chocolates, cakes, jellies. Are they healthy or unhealthy? What do they have any nutrition? Any benefits for you? No, right? Do we wrap things up like when we make chocolates? Do we wrap it up? The wrappers, they look beautiful, right? But what are they doing to the atmosphere? Causing pollution. All right. So again, Allah Ta'ala is pointing out the fruits I've created, they're not only beautiful and healthy and nutrition, even the coating, even the things they're coated in, let's say an orange, right? The peel of an orange, it looks beautiful, right? Do you see the scent in the peel of the orange? Like it smells so good. And if you chuck the peels of the orange away, the earth will have it. The earth will consume it as like its own food. Okay, the seeds of the orange you throw away, new oranges would come out. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, isn't that a miracle for you? Like, you eat my fruit, you throw it away, and the ground produces more for you. Isn't the fruits a miracle for you? And He's highlighted one fruit out of all of them is that the date palm, which produces the dates basically. If you see the nutrition value of a date, it's a whole food. It provides you fiber, protein, sugar, energy. Whereas other fruits, like some fruits might give you vitamins or some other things, but some might not have fiber, some might not have protein, some might not have sugar. But a date is a whole fruit. So the Arabs, the only fruit they had only date palms, and the only fruit they had was the dates, right? And the dates, according to Islam, is the king of fruits basically, scientifically as well. Other fruits go off really quick, right? You've got some oranges, bananas, they go off in days. But dates, they last for months. Okay? Now the Arabs lived in the wildest weather conditions. It was hot, they had to travel for miles, and all they took with them was a couple of dates and some water. And the dates were sufficient for them to keep them energized and for the travels and everything. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, I've given the world, everyone else different types of fruits. The only fruit I've given you is dates. But it's according to its nutrition value, it's the best. Isn't that a miracle for you? That you feel grateful when you see the dates? Okay? And the date palm tree, you know, like the trees, they lose the leaves when the seasons change. The date palm is the only tree that it doesn't lose leaves whether it's winter or whether it's summer. And date palm is one of the most beautiful trees as well. Okay? And also corn with leaves and stalk and fodder, and sweet scented plants. And another saying, apart from that, I've given you corn, like, you know, like wheat and stuff to cook, like make bread and, you know, what other things. And Allah was saying, then sweet scented plants, the plants you have are beautiful for you, and they smell nice to you as well. Okay? Naturally. So all the beautification Allah has made, He's just highlighting this. Then which of the blessings of your Lord will you both jinn and men deny? Okay? He created man from sounding clay, like the clay of pottery. So the word in Arabic for this is that Allah Ta'ala says, خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ قَلْخَ فَخَارٍ. Now salsal is like a dried, you know when it rains and then the mud gathers, like, how do I say to you? You know after it's rained and after a couple of days when the soil dries, you see that crusty plates develops on the ground with cracks and stuff in them, right? It's like basically, you know, like pottery clay. It's hard, but as you hold it and if you like try to crumble it, it crumbles in your hands. That's the type of clay the first human being, Adam alayhi salam, was made of. Okay? And again, coming to the scientific side, search this up as well. Leave the scientific side first. Let's go to the observational side, right? If you look at your hands, your skin, your color of your skin, the soil can vary from really dark soil to really light white soil as well, right? So all the color tones that you can find of soils on earth are all the skin tones you can find in human beings on earth as well. Have you ever realized that? That's just our observation. So in the ancient times, people say that we are made of 4 elements: earth, fire, air, and water. Scientifically, that's wrong. Okay? Out of all those elements, earth is the closest we can be made of, just by looking at it. So our skin tones resemble to the color tones of the soil. The soil is dry. Our skin is dry. It's not liquidy, or it's not gassy, or it's not hot, is it? It's dry like soil, right? So that's just natural observation. Scientifically, recently science has discovered that the soil, an average like the clay, the salsal, out of the, does anyone know about the periodic table? Has anyone studied chemistry? Do you know the periodic table? Have you heard of it? Have you studied it? School,
you
right?
told me once.
I told you about that as well, right? Basically, science says that there are 114 elements, and the whole universe is made up of a combination of a pairing of those elements. And the first ever element was hydrogen, and out of the hydrogen atom, every other element came out. Okay, so if you see a composition of a human being has an average of about 58 to 79 of those elements, and those are the exactly same elements that are present in a soil. And the majority of human body is made up of 6 elements: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, phosphorus, 2 other things I forgot. And majority in the large part of the soil is composed of those same 6 elements. So the soil and the human body share the same element composition. So take notes, go study, go find out. Okay? Second, coming to the jinn now. Another Allah says, وَخَلَقَ الْجَنَّةَ مِنْ مَارِجٍ مِنْ نَارٍ. And the jinn did He create from a smokeless flame of fire. Okay? Now I was thinking, should I share this information with you guys? Because gets a bit scary for me as well, right? Because this is what I do, right? This is I call this knowledge hunt. So Quran points things out to me, and I go research on it. So I went on a little research, right? I said, what is a smokeless flame? So I studied how a flame develops, how combustion happens, and indication, what the word, how some different elements combust and and light is produced. Okay. Should I demonstrate this to you? Believe, have you got lighter on you? Now we know who smokes. Let me turn the light. Can everyone see this flame? Can you see the different colors in the flame? Can you see right in the middle, right in the center, bottom, there's a bluish flame, right? And through the middle, there's like a needle hole, and I can see Idris through it. That's a smokeless flame. That's the invisible flame. That's what jinn are made of. So you see that invisible part?
Like
That's why jinn are invisible. So scientific, I've got other stuff, but I don't want to share that with you. It might scare you guys. So.
No, go on.
No, don't, because it's dark as well.
Now, you know what? This could lead to other stuff, like people start looking into, go online, there's a lot of evil stuff, so I don't want you to look into that. This information is enough for you. So you know why you say you can't see jinn? Huh?
What's up there?
Do you understand now? Who can tell you that apart from the creator? I can scientifically tell someone that jinns exist now.
Really?
If you see the flame, the flame is composed of different layers. You see the blue light, the orange light, the yellow light, the invisible light. So the invisible bit is where the combustion is happening the most lowest. That's why it doesn't form much light and it doesn't have heat. So the invisible part of the flame is the coolest part of the flame as well. And the hottest part of the flame is the blue flame. Okay? And the smoke, you know where the smoke comes from? It's basically the top part of the flame is releasing smoke. That's like unburnt carbon atoms that are being released into the atmosphere because of the gravity. Right? So that's why you can't see jinn, because they're made of the smokeless part of the flame. That's why, because human beings are made from the salsal, from a clay-like soil. Soil has different forms. So out of those different layers of soil, we're made of a certain layer, and that's what I pointed out directly. You're made of the like clay-like that soil, the clay-like soil, and the jinn. Because you know, like the Christians, everyone in the films, we have the description of the jinn, these like fire-like creatures, like all burn and burning. That's not it. Why can't we see jinn? It's because there's an invisible part in the flame, and that's what has made them out of that, the finest part of the flame. So that's why they can, if you ever, and they're really fast as well. We know they can fly, they can move around really fast, really quick, okay, and they're a form of gas, so there must be some around us as well, you might be able to see, okay? Alright, anyways, I'll move on from here. So if you want to really understand, go study the flame, the structure of the flame, how flame is in layers.
We eat good jinn as well.
Huh?
You eat
You
good
get a good, jinn is a jinn, right? A bad jinn is called shaitan. A disobedient one are known as shayateen. Okay?
We didn't get the good ones.
The good ones are here as well, like in Surah Jinn, when you read Surah Jinn, Allah says there's good jinn and bad jinn. Okay? That's why Allah Ta'ala is pointing out to you, right? Allah Ta'ala. So this is why one thing I said as well, like if you read the other books, or like you read the Bible, this and that, they say we created things, but they don't tell you how I created it. So this is what I said in my first lecture. If you have got 4 people, and all 4 of them, let's say, all four of these claim to have created this camera, right? This phone, basically, Samsung. Umair Malik says I created it. He says I created it. He says I created it. How are we going to know who's telling the truth? We're going to either ask them, okay, show us how you created it. Give us the blueprints. Give us the layout. And the one who can give us the right layout, or who can show us how he created it, he's a creator, basically. So Allah Ta'ala is giving you the origin of every creation here. Bayan, use of Bayan, go study. Okay?
Right.
Alright.
Right.
Smokeless flame of fire. Then which of the blessings of your Lord will you both jinn and men deny? He is the Lord of the two easts and the Lord of the two wests. Now, what in the world are two easts and two wests? Inshallah, after this, I'll do namaz.